Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope it's good to be where you are because it is certainly good to be here. My name is Baltimore Fats, and this is another special edition of Mud City. All right. See, I got to do that quicker. So this one should be a quickie. I hope it's a quickie. Should be just a brief slideshow. So I was walking around my usual neighborhood walks yesterday, and I came across this. And at one time, in one of the very first videos I made, I think I mentioned that I had some pictures of a building that, really showed the resurfacing, what they do to, rehab these buildings. And so this is that building, but this time as I was walking by, I saw this big bright yellow sign on it, and I know what those mean. Sorry about that. All right, and they're going to demolish this little row here. So, as I was walking by, although I didn't have all the time in the world, I figured, let me stop and take, so this way I don't have to go searching through my now seemingly endless database of photos of Baltimore houses. Let me take a few more and, see if there's enough here to do a quick presentation, right? So this is that row you saw. I don't know, do we see it on this side? No, this is, wait a minute. Right, they have this extension here, which is, if you look up, you can see it's, it's certainly of a different era than this, even though this is a paint job on here. So they're knocking that down, they're knocking this main red one down, they're knocking this one down, and then there's one more part of this sort of complex here. Although there's not a demolition sticker on this one, I have to imagine this is going to go to. It's certainly abandoned, and I'm going to come in on it a little bit. Yeah, this is I just want to show some of the things that I've been noticing, and now some of these older ones. Like I was trying to save this one because, again, I do have ideas about these row homes, and I want to put them together in a presentation, but it's difficult. Because there's so many different types of row homes, and my ideas are kind of all over the place. So I hope, that they'll coalesce on their own someday, and I don't have to force them to. But I wanted to show, how I always say there are no doors in Baltimore, right? And I wanted to show this as an example, right? Because they have this. Look at this window here. So at one point, this looks like it was blown out to be a door. And then they decided they needed that to be a window instead and opened a door on this side. And I wanted to showcase, and I have another picture of this as well. Look at this area right around the door. Doesn't that seem to, it seems to me like this is, you could see where they punched out the window and lengthened this down to create this doorway here. And they had to do it. They did it with the original width of the window. And it's just interesting to me that it looks like they clearly did that over here. I shouldn't say clearly, but it looks like they did that over here and then switched it. So continuing on, let's see. Didn't get much. I did take a picture of some of these collapsing windows. I want you to notice this little weird doorway here in this plywood door. What the heck was trying to get in there? I don't know. And who knows how long this doorway has been there. And one of the things I will talk about eventually, I'm not going to go into, are these little alleys. And I need to get more information about these alleys that are between these houses. My wife says they're for horses, but no way. No way. Most of these alleys are way too narrow to get a good-sized horse down them. So I wanted to show, there's brick underneath here. And this is one of the things I wanted to showcase. I think I get it in the next one. See, I don't know what this is called. I'm going to call it stucco. I'm 85% certain that's wrong. But this is what I think is happening with a lot of, when they say that their buildings being built in the 1800s, but they look like they have, 1880s, and they look like they have this, like those peeper windows and weird doorways and stuff like that. And I think, a lot of these buildings are just stuccoed over like this and then presented as new construction, ta-da! That's what I like to say. Look what we made. Another shot of that. It's coverage stuff. Another here. And you don't get really a good sense of it here, but this is buckling, or this area is popping out. And so this is that doorway, and you kind of get a sense of the alley that's, where it goes. All right, I stuck my hand in there, and I was like, okay, I'm going in. And this is what you see when you come back out. And I have to show this to my friend who, like I said, does some rehabbing and house flipping here in South Baltimore. And he said he never comes across steam radiators. Well, I found one right there. And so here's this little back lot behind this little mini 3-row here. This is that alleyway going back, and it's low. I certainly had to crouch to crawl through there, and it's not wide at all. Here's that back, so it's these two houses, and there's an addition coming off of this. Right, and these doors are busted open. These houses have been abandoned for a long, long time. You see how this is just collapsing. I have another shot of this. I really kind of like the way this looks. So this is the alleyway that I crawled through. Just dilapidated, right? There's a reason why this is being all demolished and not rehabbed for resale. I like this sink out here, kind of outdoors. I thought I took a close up of it, but I like how this iron, I don't know if that's iron or not, this ornate sink rest here, that is vintage. Who knows how long that's been there. And a little just detail how it's just collapsing. This is what weathering and abandonment does to buildings, and that stucco work that was on the front. Oh, here, I did a little bit closer up. That stuff is the way it's falling apart. And this is inside that house that's to the left, and the floor is just rotted. This is fiberboard. Who knows when this was laid down last? But it couldn't have been that long ago, 40, 50 years ago at most, I would think, with this type of fiberboard on the floor. At most, 40 years ago, right? Although I could be way off. Fiberboard could have been around forever and is, I don't know. So I wanted to go in. I really did, especially with what I'll show you in a second. But with that floor rotted out the way it was and me having to pick up Mr. X in about an hour, I was not going to do it. My wife would kill me if I fell through the floor there or got, tetanus or something. But I like the way this is all collapsing, these inside walls, and a lot of, you could see they had like insulation. There was probably drywall over this area here, but this is the original studs or foundation. But I like the way the brick that's underneath, and a lot of houses, the way they do these row homes today, they leave that brick exposed now. And it looks, in my house, it's exposed. It looks really great. But I wanted to get up in there. Oh, this is just a look in the floor. Oh, and there's the stairs I wanted to show you. This is why I wanted to go in and go up. I have a better picture of that, but I'm going to go back because I didn't keep every picture, I guess. I thought I had a picture of this, and perhaps I do. I wanted to see if there was another layer of brick under there, but there isn't. There's something else. So this is the stairway, and I have a better shot of this. Oh, I did do it. See, I should have just trusted my instincts and went forward. I can't quite make out what's in there. And like I said, I wasn't going to go in and step on that rotting fiberboard. It just, I may be stupid, but I'm not crazy, or maybe I'm crazy, but not stupid. Either way, I wasn't doing it. But there is something under there. I do get up nice and close. Interesting that it seems to have, that's not outside, right? Oh, but this goes into that neck. There's another little building there. Curious. Might have to test the strength of this floor before they demolish this building. So here's the staircase that they have, and one of the things I wanted to point out, as I mentioned, as I have talked a little bit about the row homes, and these row homes are pretty narrow, right? And so this is a pretty steep stair, and it comes down into the middle, almost to the middle of the room, dividing this house. And this looks pretty vintage to me. If it's not original to when they say this house was built, and who knows when that could be. Actually, I have a clue that I'm saving for the last picture. But this has a good vintage look to it. Very early 1900s, I would guess at the latest. That's just a feeling I get from this staircase. Another picture of it, I wanted to kind of show where it leads. They go up pretty steep, and then it probably branches off to the left or the right on both sides, accessing the rooms on the second floor of this row. And that's one thing, pardon me, I always want to mention about these row homes, and especially if you can find them pre-modern rehab. I mean, they just don't seem to fit form and function for habitation. I mean, they're so narrow, they're weirdly chopped up, the rooms are small. Okay, so I'm back outside again. This is that alleyway, and look, I found this is one of the original shovels that the Calverts handed to one of their, not the Calverts, but the Carrolls handed to one of their slaves and said, dig. How rusted that thing is. Been out in that back court forever. And there's this weird pipe sticking out. Who knows what this pipe was all about at some point, but it does just kind of get buried into the ground. And again, look at this window, how so flush it is. This was patched up a couple of times in its day, and how ignored this brickwork is. And here's that side, just slumping. So I don't know if it's the next picture or not, so I'm going to start the introduction. I wasn't going to do a presentation about this at all, actually, and thought I would just bank those photographs for my row home presentation that eventually will happen. But then, as I was going through the photos last night, I came across something that I didn't notice when I was taking them. That alleyway, this alleyway, how many pictures back is it? This alleyway here that I had to walk through to get into this back courtyard was dark, and so I stuck my camera and my phone in there, and I took a couple pictures of it, and then just walked through. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So, yeah, here it is. And so when I didn't look at the pictures as I was taking them, and this is why I should always go through my slideshows before I present them, because there was one that I did. That video keeps coming up in my troll video, where I was so excited about the concept of the troll and what I wanted to do with the information that he was trying to use to quote unquote debunk mud flood. I just ran home and uploaded those photos and didn't look at them first. And Fixin' Time pointed out that I made an observation about a window repair or a door repair, and that the next building I showed had the same thing. I made an observation how I never really see it, and then the next building actually had it. If I had inspected those photos first, I would have caught that beforehand. But I wanted to show, this was written on the top, and it's really kind of interesting to me, right? Because it's a mirror image, the O and the T, or whatever symbol you want this to be, and then 1881, which is, the same thing backwards and forwards. So it's this weird double image, and you have this J and O also with 1881, that does, look concrete-ish. I don't know what any of these symbols mean, but there's clearly some symbol work on here. WW perhaps, or MM, scratched in there. So I want to say now, at the very latest, we could put, is that original? It's like the inscriptions that you see in is it the Great Pyramid that has the inscriptions in it? way up high above one of like the Queen or King's chamber or whatever. So I just I said, okay, well, there's my in. I can do a presentation. So if anybody has any information about these could be somebody's initials, but I just thought it was really interesting that they did a mirror image in the year 1881 is the same thing backwards and forwards. I just thought that was really, really interesting. What it could mean nothing, but with the year given, the fact that it is this sort of dual image, and the more I look into this stuff, there just are no coincidences. So anyway, that's all I'm gonna do for today. I was gonna do my threes, but that'll have to wait. Maybe next week I'll get to that. So anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope everyone is well today and has a great day. And so if you like what's going on over here, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment. I really enjoy communicating with everyone. So yeah, until the next one, cheers, guys.